we go. All right, Lindsey Singer joining us now. Lindsey, welcome. Rush to Reason. How are you?
Hi, Lindsey.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Oh, we always appreciate having you. Colorado Rising Action. All right, there's some bills to watch here in our legislature now. What are they?
Yeah, so I've got a list of 5 and then an honorable mention.
Okay.
The first one is actually 2 bills, but I combined it to one because they both involve the public option health plan. This is the idea of creating a public option for health insurance that would be covered by the state.
Okay.
So there's a Senate Bill 4, which creates the pilot program, and that would cover a select group of people in Eagle and Garfield counties for 1 year. Okay. And if you think after 1 year they're going to take away that insurance, you are crazy. Yep. And then there's House Bill 4, which is a proposal. It's called a Proposal for Affordable Health Care Option, and it directs some departments to put together a plan for statewide implementation of this. So there you have it. Definitely keep an eye on that.
So SB4.
SB4 and HB4.
And HD4. Okay, HD4.
Yeah. Governor Polis earlier this week said I think it's the first time, no one else has been able to tell me he said it before. He said publicly that he's going to look at options. I think his phrasing was options that increase competition, like the public option. So that's the first time I've heard him say that publicly. Just something to keep watching.
Okay. All right. We'll do it. What's next?
All right. The next one is Senate Bill 42. It's a bill that would tie Colorado's electoral votes to the national popular vote for presidential elections. This is sort of a national effort, and it would give all the electorate power to big cities like Los Angeles, New York.
Yep.
I don't think we want to see that happen.
No. Basically, it eliminates electoral colleges, essentially. Let's call it what it is. They want to eliminate the electoral college.
Yep. So that passed out of its committee, and it's headed to the Senate floor for a vote.
Great.
Definitely keep an eye on that one.
Yeah, but don't you think that one? Okay, let's say it passes and all that. If they were to try to implement it,
it's unconstitutional. So can they at that point?
So how would that? I have to find out how that works. Because it's got to be.
Yeah, there's so many issues with it because states have different voting laws, different laws for felons, different vote by mail, vote in person. It's so complicated, but the fact that it's going forward in Colorado would send a sort of a national message, and it's a direction that we don't want to head in.
No. Well, the sad part about it is I believe there's already 15 states that have passed this.
Oh, gee. Great. That's all we need. Dumb. Again, it's not constitutional, folks. They can pass it all they want to, but I don't believe it'll hold water.
But as far as I know, none of them have exercised it yet.
Got it.
Because there's not enough states to make a difference.
Got it. Okay. All right. Third.
Yeah. Okay. Third is it actually passed in the Senate today. It's InterDistrict Transportation for students. So it says that transportation can be provided or reimbursed only if a student goes to a school in a neighboring district and if the home district gives approval. So really what this does is it hurts kids who want school choice but can't afford to travel. So if their parents can't take them to school in the morning and their home district says no to them going to a school outside of that district, then they won't pay for the transportation.
What's the bill number, by the way?
That's Senate Bill 39, and it's a big school choice bill. So we're watching that one as well.
Okay. So
the next one.
Okay. Next. Yep. Go ahead.
Next one is Senate Bill 53, and this is a Republican bill. It prohibits Colorado from adopting California's air quality standards. So it would keep our air quality standards in line with the federal standards instead of the California standards, which are far stricter.
Yeah, unfortunately, that one's pretty much
that ain't going anywhere, unfortunately. I hate to say it's great that it's there, but it ain't going anywhere.
That ain't happening.
Yeah.
Nice thought.
I love it.
We're throwing it in there just to watch because that is an issue that we're paying close attention to.
I mean, it would be really, really nice if that gained a little bit of traction and went someplace, but I don't think there's enough, and I mean this sincerely, and I hope there's some Democrats listening. There's not enough Democrats with enough sense, enough brains to pass that.
From your mouth to their ears.
There you go.
There you go. Well, he's right. I mean, John, there are already electronic billboards around town thanking Governor Polis for our clean air because of our clean cars.
It's the dumbest thing ever. As a car guy, it's the dumbest thing ever.
I'd like to know the answer. When you plug an electric car in, where does that electricity come from?
Wind, coal, solar, nuclear, you name it. Depends on which grid you're plugged into and how they're getting their power generated. But it's basically all of the above of those, Lindsey. And a lot of it is coal.
Right. Yeah. That's not until that's 100% renewable, and that's a whole different.
Well, and this is something for. And again,
I don't know what you two are talking about. It comes out of the wall.
No, it does not.
It's right out of the wall.
Yeah, it does.
And my wall does not smoke or anything.
No, it doesn't actually. But everything getting it there does.
No, it can't.
Okay, so Lindsey, as a car guy, here's something else I'll throw at you that you can use in some of the things that you do publicly and so on. The other thing that never gets talked about when it comes to electric vehicles, I'm going to talk a little bit about this later in the show as well, just because of the mandates and things that we've got coming down as a state. But the other thing that never gets talked about when it comes to electric vehicles is what it actually takes to create the batteries that go in those vehicles, the rare earth metals, and how they're mined and what it takes to actually get that done and assembled is one of the dirtiest, toxic things known to mankind. It is one of the nastiest things we mine on the planet. The mines themselves look like you just sent a nuclear bomb off there. That's exactly how they look. It's some of the most disgusting things you'll ever see. So every time somebody buys an electric car, that's where that's coming from.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
And nobody out there rarely talks about what I just said. On top of that, and I did a little bit of talk on this on my radio show on Saturdays where we do the automotive side of the fence. And the other thing nobody ever talks about, Lindsey, is the cost difference from electric to a regular vehicle. And I did the math this past Saturday, and I'm not off in my numbers. To buy most any electric vehicle versus the competitor gasoline vehicle in that particular segment. So you take a Tesla that's a fairly nice sedan, even a low-end Tesla at $80,000. And I'm not exaggerating, folks. You can buy another vehicle that's comparable to quality and interior features for about half that money. You can buy a pretty nice sedan for $40,000 to $45,000. And I did the math, Lindsey. It would take you, get this, it would take you 40 years to make up the difference between the fuel economy and what you just spent on the Tesla. And that doesn't consider, at the end of the 10-year life cycle of the battery, having to spend $10,000 roughly to put another battery pack in. So the reality is, nobody talks about this anywhere in the public. It is not economically sound to ever own an electric vehicle, period.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Period. It's not. You can run the math. You can do it. It's not environmentally sound. It's not economically sound. And the other thing, Lindsey, nobody ever talks about when it comes to electric vehicles is just the sheer amount of energy that it takes to build any vehicle, electric or not. The dealership structure behind it and everything that it takes to run all the dealerships. The amount of time it takes to get the vehicle transported from wherever the manufacturing is. The manufacturing of the vehicle itself. I've said for years that if you were driving a 1974 Ford F-250 that got 10 miles to the gallon, you could drive that vehicle for the rest of your life and save more energy than any new vehicle takes to build. Nobody ever talks about that. So, just a side note, you can put some of that back into some of the things you guys talk about.
John, I can't feel good about myself unless I drive an electric car and I'm saving the planet.
And you know what? That's the key to what you just said, Dan. The reality is you're not saving anything, including your wallet, by buying those cars.
No, but by golly, me and my liberal friends will think I'm really cool.
That's about it, because everybody else thinks you're an idiot.
And what you just said doesn't sound as catchy as 100% renewable energy.
Sure doesn't, Lindsey. Therein lies the problem. The problem is, though, is the facts are louder than what they're saying. The problem is even we on the right, we don't speak the facts of what I just said near enough.
No, but how do you have a catchy little ad campaign that says that? I mean, they got the left has the greatest catchy little ad campaigns. Everybody buys into these premises, even the right. And then next thing you know, you're subsidizing $80,000 electric cars for rich people.
You know what I would do as an ad campaign is literally have a poster or a sign that basically shows how many barrels of oil it takes to create any new vehicle, plus the rare earth metals you put in that electric vehicle, and then add that into what you're doing with the current vehicle you're driving, and it will far, far, far outweigh itself.
Yeah, but where are your rainbows and unicorns, pal? You're not getting anywhere with a campaign like that.
Probably not, but it's the truth. Truth hurts.
It does.
So, anyways, sorry to get on a soapbox, Lindsey, but that one just gets me because that whole thing is just a big joke.
But, John, in this modern culture, truth be damned, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I know. You're right. Anyways, moving on. What's the next one, Lindsey?
Yeah. So the next one is increasing the general fund funding for transportation. This is also a Republican bill, so we'll see. But Jared Polis hasn't put any funding for transportation in his budget proposal, and we know that there's some Democrats that think that there should be. So there's already $150 million scheduled to go into the transportation budget from the general fund, at the beginning of the fiscal year, which is in July. So this bill would bump that up to $340 million.
Got it.
Yeah,
So what's the number? What's the name of the bill, real quick?
Go ahead.
Increase general fund funding for transportation, and it's Senate Bill 51.
51.
So an
great.
interesting thing about this, and this is, I don't know if it'll stay this way. This is the Republicans that formulated it this way, but it more than doubles the funding that would go to state highway, and it more than doubles the funding that would go to municipalities and counties, but it keeps the multimodal transportation.
Yeah.
So,
No, it's good that
we'll
it keeps
see
the
if
same because the Dems really want to increase that. So
Okay,
at
so it
least
keeps
that's
it
a
the
good
same.
compromise.
Okay,
It's a good,
all right, okay.
It's a good compromise.
Okay,
I'm not
all right,
going to
makes
dog them
sense.
too hard on that.
Okay, all right, makes sense. Okay, all right.
So, but
What?
here's the deal.
What?
This will never pass because it's not needed anymore. Because as soon as Polis wipes out the oil and gas industry and all those people leave the state, the
We don't
roads
need
will
it
be freed
anyways?
up.
Oh, got it. Okay.
there are some Democrats that have been vocal about needing to put some money into transportation. So
That's
hopefully
good.
we'll get something
So
out
maybe
of
we'll
that.
get some traction. Okay, perfect. Anything else, Lindsey?
Oh, that was good. Get some
Yeah, well,
traction.
one I just wanted to, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're fine. What else did you have?
I just wanted to mention, this bill has died, but it involves education. It was called Bonuses for Highly Effective Teachers. It's Senate Bill 22. It died on a straight partisan vote. It would have given effective teachers, which are about half the teachers in Colorado, a $2,000 raise. So it's kind of like if we're going to, talk about giving more money to teachers, the Democrats just did not put their money where their mouth is at all.
Well, of course not,
on
because
that
it's
one.
not fair to the mediocre or lousy teacher that needs more money too.
That was the reason, exactly.
That's it.
There you go. All right.